Hello. Well, getting ready for the holiday season, I figure what I would do is I will remind you that a lot on Bandcamp, that is, a lot of the music that I have up there, are now free downloads. But maybe you didn't know that, but you do now. And so treat yourself to a gift for Christmas. Now, do know that these are free downloads, and if you choose to want to make a donation, that is fine. Now, one thing that we do know is that, generally speaking, no one really buys CDs anymore. However, they do download CDs, I guess, which is kind of interesting because if people were buying CDs right now, when I consider the followings and friends that I have, even if they only made $1 donation, that would be enough for me to buy a new little car, and I can drive myself to Oregon, which I will be sort of relocating to in March. Maybe I'll be there for 6 months. We'll see if I can make a go out of it. But so anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down the songs in my discography and explain to you what these things are, because even I forget about some of this stuff. So anyway, let's start with Miche and the big band live at the Riviera. Now, I did that show back on my big birthday. I think I turned big. I don't even want to talk about it because it depresses me. But nonetheless, it's with the big band. It's really it's boy, it was so much fun to do. Oh, I got my laptop in my lap here, and I keep poking at it to do things, and it's like this one doesn't work that way. This isn't my phone. Okay, so let's see here. All right, so it's a digital, thing there. All right, so that's what that is. And so let's go back now. And all right, and then there's Between You and Me. That was my first solo jazz CD. Basically, I prefer piano and voice, but where I live, it's really hard to get an accompanist. It's just kind of a pain in the butt. And it was time that I really learned how to play a lot of these songs. And that's when I really started to, learn how to play, a lot of these things. So anyway, that's Between You and Me. So for you guitar aficionados, you want to hear, jazz. I think I have maybe, I don't know, do I have an original on there? Maybe one or two. Okay. And then I'm looking at The Troubadour Flies Again. That's a single. Kind of a pop song. And then there's my classic, Cafe Vignettes. That's definitely a pop, a pop thing. Let me look and see. Already Down, Man of Straw. And in between, I do like maybe two songs, and then I will tell a story. And the whole idea was I did a tour where I traveled from the East Coast, Ithaca, all the way out to California, doing cafes. So I was telling stories, about some of these cafe adventures. So I will do like maybe it's like two songs. I tell a story. Two songs. I tell a story. And so anyway, that's what that is. Okay, moving right across here. Then there's the Christmas mode. Now, some of you certainly are familiar with that. I did post that on Facebook, maybe, today. But again, a lot of people see these things, they don't really pay attention to them. More so videos, but, you really, you don't know who's watching this stuff or if anybody's watching this. Anyway, and then there's my Canvas. That's another solo. That's my very first solo CD, my Canvas. And I remember trying to get Vernon Reed to produce it, but he was busy doing something. And anyway, so what's on my canvas here? Let me go here. Them Bones, Strange Love. Oh, yeah. Little Morning Peace. Boy, that brings back... I haven't heard these things in a while. And again, these free download. That just says free download. Okay. Let me see, do all these things say free download, or will you just name your price? Okay. Okay, but you can still just put 0 in it, or just download them. Let me see what happens here. I'm going to buy digital download. Okay, name your price. I'm going to put 0 in there and see what happens. All right. Name your price 0. Where are my glasses? Okay, so let's see, name your price. Okay, you have that, redeem. Okay, download to your computer. Download now. Okay, so you can just put 0 there if you don't want to pay anything. All right, so now you know. And if there are any issues, just write me, and I'll go ahead and send it to you. Okay, so Hello Pain. That's a single, very poignant song. Now, here's a song that a lot of you probably, a CD that a lot of you are not familiar with, called Camus. Let me see, I don't think that's a free download because I don't have, let me see, buy digital, oh no, name your price, Camus. That's a CD that I'm singing on. I'm singing on maybe 6 tracks, and it was a gentleman out of Syracuse. Probably one of the more difficult things that I've done in that, working with a producer. If you saw my producer video, you saw this. You saw that I talked about this CD, and it was definitely a challenge because it's one thing for you to just do what you do. It's another thing when you are trying to do what somebody else wants you to do, and it's the guessing game of trying to do it. And your ego is in such a way that you've got a few choices. One, there's the one approach that says, well, look, this is who I am and this is how I do it. There's another part that says, can I meet the challenge of what he's trying to do? And that was generally the challenge that I took. We got it, but it was work. Okay, keeping down here. Let's see, what else do we have? All right. Okay, then there's the Lost Love single. There's 2 singles there. Kind of, it's a nice little thing. Gosh, I haven't played those songs. I don't think I've ever performed them. And then there's October Skies, a beautiful song with Scott Bradley. And then there's something from my singer-songwriter thing called It's Alright. It's just a solo piece. And then I did a song, had a lot of fun, called Shiny Makeup. And I have a friend, Heather Mermelstein. You probably will see her. She's one of my Facebook friends. And I knew that she was really into, makeup and all kinds of fun stuff. And so I wrote this song, and I asked her if she could write some lyrics, about that. And this was a song we came up with. It's kind of reminiscent of the band Hot Chocolate. Remember that? I believe in miracles away from you, sexy thing, you. All right. There's another single, My Rose. That's another interesting song. Much different than my solo version, of it. This kind of took a little kind of countryish pop swing, all about staying over at, a somewhat friend's house and having nothing else to do and stumbling across a diary and, and breaking your code and reading it, thinking that you're going to find something about yourself there, and you find something about everybody else but you. Boy, that's humbling. So In a Maze, Alvin Ray. Some of you are familiar with Alvin Ray. I come up with these characters that I do just for fun. I just create them just as a way to, have some excuse to do whatever it is that I want to do. because these days being versatile is a curse. It used to be kind of a great thing. It's in terms of marketing, it's probably a bad thing or not an easy thing, but according to the promoter, a bad thing. According to a concert, it's a great thing because it's entertainment. And I've always considered myself more of an entertainer than just this guitarist guy. Anyway, so let's see. There's a Bad Idea song about going to the mall and you're in Victoria's Secret and some charming pretty face charms you into buying her all these things. You do it, and kind of another humble thing. So let's see what else is on here. There's A Warm Room. That is a very interesting record. That was my first solo ensemble piece with the guitar, with the acoustic guitar. I think there's some really good songs on there. Songs that I haven't performed forever. So anyway, going down the line here, there's Michelle and the Anglos, pop band. There's the Chapel Session. The Chapel Session is very interesting for a lot of different reasons. That was a record that I had put it out. I didn't really care much for it, it's an audiophile recording. An audiophile recording is something that it uses the least of technology, but the best of technology. At this particular time, this was one of the few people that actually had a 24-bit analog converter. Digital, converter thing. Everybody was renting it from this guy, who purchased it from the guy either at Blue Note or one of those kinds of labels, and he didn't have time to make a new one. He had two, so he sold one to one of the engineers of this. And again, when I say engineers, I mean these guys, they go out, they have their Neumann microphones that are modified. I mean, you can buy a car for what these guys have paid for with their microphones. They hate the digital world. It's all about analog to them. Now, we're talking maybe 20 years ago. I'm sure things have changed since then. But anyway, those are just a few. There's still some other things, up there, stories and things. But anyway, take a gaze at, some of these things. And again, just name your price, treat yourself, to it. How's that for a Christmas gift, So anyway, I'm going to finish this video. I'm just going to take it downstairs. I'm going to put the link on Bandcamp. But again, it's just Bandcamp. And all you got to do is put my name in the search thing, and bam, it'll pop up. And treat yourself to some of these things. I mean, the least that I can do is just kind of get the music, out there. Sure, it's interesting that nobody, really buys this stuff, anymore. Which is precisely why there's no incentive for me to even bother recording something. Because unbeknownst to a lot of people, it still costs musicians money to do this, you see. And why do we don't want to lose money, not to mention not having it. But nonetheless, I just want to share that with you. So I'm going to just fix up this video, post it, and maybe you will make your day. And it will make me smile to see that somebody actually downloaded, something like this. And who knows, maybe he might give me a buck or something like that. And who knows, maybe enough of you will give me a buck. I'll, get me a little decent car and drive out to Oregon.